Hello, how's everyone doing today? I will continue working on my database engine. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So I've done the lesson and I'm mostly doing the person now. So initially I tried Num and I also tried Chomsky, but actually um, I built my own person library because I wasn't very happy with Num and Chomsky and the rest, Laprop, Peg, Winnow, and a bunch of others. I feel like they get in the way. Num doesn't get in the way as much as Chomsky in my experience, but Num doesn't support a lot of features that you would expect out of the box, especially with regards to span tracking, and I I think that is crucial when you're building a parser for a language like SQL. Um, but for now, it's an afterthought, and you need to use a third-party library. So I was using that at that point. The the third-party library had not supported the latest version of Num, which was 8.0. I believe it wasn't beta. I wasn't quite happy with that, so I built the spanning function from scratch. And I built it with different approaches, uh, in different approaches with different trade-offs in mind. However, I felt like that was something that should have been provided outside of the box, and it didn't feel right to have to reinvent the wheel there. So I just thought, why not as well just create this from scratch? So I started building my own parser tokenization library, which supports both. And the nice thing about the approach that I've come up with is that it doesn't force an approach with you, on you rather. So if you want to do recursive descent, you want to do combinatorials, both of those approaches are supported. Unlike especially Chomsky that tends to be more of like combinatorials. And another thing I didn't quite enjoy with Chomsky was, apart from the fact that I find myself doing a lot of like going through the source code just to be able to do very basic stuff, I, at least for me, the precedence of operation didn't feel intuitive and easy to grok. Good. And I also think that it's a bit counterintuitive or unintuitive, I would even say, because if you want to parse something, you're gonna use something like just of something, then you're gonna chain, and sometimes you can say ignore then, and sometimes you say then ignore, and you have separated by or something. It's hard to tell sometimes. I would even say many a times that the method you're chaining on the previous function, like what part of this is this actually operating on. This looks like a trivial example, but when you have like a lot more complex chaining, it becomes more cumbersome to follow. So I just thought like I might as well just build this from scratch. So I built a parsing library for it, and that's what I'm using now. So let's just import that. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a literal value. Just take this out first. What we're gonna do is implement parse token string. My ID is messing up a lot. I need to find time to fix that. It's quite exasperating to have to deal with that over and over again. Over and over again. There she goes. There she goes. There she goes. Nothing's better than my beautiful wonder. So it's saying meta token meta does not implement token trade. Okay. I think it's probably high time for me to T doesn't implement display. Debug. I don't know why, but coding in Rust while having the cool ass haircut give off Wakanda vibe. That's the funniest thing about this year. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. What's good? How you doing? Vian, right? Vin. What's good? Thanks for joining in the stream. How did you find the stream? How you doing? Where are you chatting from? That's so funny. What kind of vibe? I might just name this project Wakanda. I wrote this parcel. I'm still thinking of a name to give it. I gave it this name for now, so maybe I'll just give it Wakanda. Oh my god. Oh, my phone is ringing. Oh, from Russia. 1 second, I'll be back now. From Russia, bro. Just seen your 6 hour stream the other day and it was cool. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I was streaming quite a bit. Like I streamed sometimes like 20 hours in a day. But now I'm back. I'm excited to be back. Sorry, I had a call and I just had to pick the call. So I was Russia today. How do you say some greetings in Russia? What part of Russia is that? Is it St. Petersburg? Is it Moscow? Is it and there are some other places. I've been wanting to visit Russia a long time, and maybe I'll finally do that soon. This year or next year, I would like to visit. That's a truly cool name. Yes. Taking trades. So it's saying that Fitband is not implemented. Converting from tokens. I'm not sure we should actually require that. That doesn't seem optimal to me. So that is essentially saying that we should implement from anything that is convertible to what am I missing here? Okay, so from anything that is convertible to token meta. So from is convertible. So we can see, for example, we can say implement token. But it would do that. I'm not sure that's actually ideal. Of course, this is gonna work now. Let's close that. Token not. World card, yeah. Ben Clark. I'm new here. What's the progress like so far? Looking amazing, by the way. I appreciate you for being here. The progress was it progress report. So basically, let's see what we've done so far. We have the Lexa for the comments and identifier and everything, and the symbols. So actually, I've been working on. I started working on these, and I tried a bunch of parsers. Right, I tried Num, Wino, Chomsky, Lapro, Peg, and I was having a lot of issues with them. And I was just like, I'm having a lot of pain point with this, so I might as well just write my own parser. So I had to write my own parser and from scratch, and it actually does a lot of interesting things that I don't think I've seen anywhere in Rust, which I'm quite excited about to share. I'm planning to open source my parser also. So, for example, this supports parsing like characters. It supports bytes parsing, and it supports even token stream. So if you have your own token, and in addition to that, it supports also reads. So when you're using like parser, the normal parsers and byte stuff, it assumes that the input is in memory. You have everything, right? Whereas if you're using read, it's like a buffer that you're reading from, let's say, asynchronously or just from other source that you don't have the entire token. So that supports this also. But let me show you what I'm mostly excited about to share in the parser. One of the things I'm excited to share. Let me show you this, for example. You see, let me show you my float parser. For example, I can show you this first. I write a parser for, I implement this trait for this alpha, right? So this tells this how to parse an alphabet. So how do you parse a word? A word is essentially just a cluster of alphabet together. All you just need to do is repeat alpha, and that works. You don't need to write all this code. If you want to do the same thing for number, all you need to do is you specify digits, and see the way you specify digits. You want one of these characters, and it knows how to parse it. You don't have to write any code. It just does the magic. And for you to do alphanumeric is just either alpha and this just works. You don't need to write any code. But if you still want to do this like imperatively, you can still write the code to do it, of course. As you can see, I originally like actually wrote this out. Then also you can just do repeat. And in addition to that, if I take it to my float person, let's see if I've got that somewhere here. You can do some interesting stuff like, for example, if you want to parse a float, we've got this epsilon, which could be capital or small letter. So it's either character E, the lowercase, or the uppercase. Then the sign could be minus or plus. Then we have the digits. Then all you need to do to parse, we have like three different main conditions. The first one is you're trying to parse the one with leading dots. All you need to do is just, okay, I'm expecting a tuple of dot, unsigned integer, and the epsilon part, which is optional, right? That's the first case. The second case is that you might have the digits, let's say an unsigned integer in this case, and the epsilon part. But you could also have a decimal, and even that decimal could have the epsilon with a minus, right? If you're having like an inverse of like 1/1000 or something like that. And it could also be plus, and that is optional also. So it's quite complex. But to define that, all you just need to do is define these two suffixes, right? You've got the epsilon with the number, then that with the dots, unsigned integer, and the epsilon part, which we already defined here. Then you define this, but basically this is like quite interesting to me. So you have this tuple of either the first suffix, which is simple, or the second suffix, which could be like the decimal with the epsilon, which could have the minus or plus or none. Then we have this one with the trailing decimal also. So you just write this bunch of stuff and it does the parsing for you. It knows the magic to do, right? And in order to parse, look at this. All you need to do is like, okay, we're expecting a leading negative, and this could be one of these three. And it just works. Like, I had a bunch of code written for this before. If I go back, you see I actually wrote this imperatively before. And you see, you can see some of this code. But now I just declare the types and like everything just works. So I'm really excited to share the parsing because I've felt like something like this should be possible, and it didn't, like, it just didn't exist. So I decided to build it, and I've been really enjoying working with this. It's like I don't have to think in terms of how, I just think in terms of what do I want to achieve, and it just works. And I'm really excited. It supports also bytes, so I could show you something with repeat, for example, which I think I've used somewhere. I could search repeat min max, for example. As okay, this is the declaration of it, but you can see even the repeat is used elsewhere for min and max. Let me show you some place where I've used I should have used that somewhere. I'm pretty sure I used that somewhere already. Okay, but then anyways, the repeat can be used. Maybe I use repeat exact. Let's see. Okay, see, for example, you want to define a binary. All you just need to do is repeat exact. You want, let's say, a 4 bits, and you want those to be, they could be surrounded by minus, like, I mean, underscore. So you can say this bit, which is defined as 0 or 1, could be surrounded by on an underscore, and you just repeat that 4 times, and it just works. So you can declare like very complex stuff. You can even do that for an emoji. You can do that for a byte. You can do min max on a bunch of other stuff. So that's like by the way, but so I had to build this to build my database engine. So now I'm just basically, if you see, I have this bunch of statements and stuff that I originally implemented in with Norman Chomsky and the likes, but now I'm actually migrating them to work with my own parser implementation. And the nice thing about this is that you don't have to decide if you're just doing combinatorials or recursive descent. You can actually do both. You can do your prod parsing. It just gets out of your way, and you can just write Rust. You don't have to learn a bunch of like DSLs. You just learn, you work with the Rust, and it just meets you wherever you are. So I'm quite excited about that. So very cool. This is neat. What is your GitHub? I'll make sure to keep an eye out. I'm actually building my own land too, so a lot of this stuff rings a bell. All right, that's exciting. I can show you my GitHub. This is what my GitHub looks like. I'll share. I probably should be sharing my GitHub in the stream every time I'm streaming. So now we want to parse this. One thing we could do, okay, is to consume wow. okay, takes fn modes token meta. Should we be taking token meta here? I think okay, fn mirror that, but I would have expected that we could just take token kind and that should be fine. So the result should of course be, let's see, token meta kind. Okay, let's complain about okay, it suspects an array. Yeah, an array of that. Okay, that's good. So we might be able to do consume exact and just take a predicate. So we take a string and we can do matches, for example. Just that. Let's use a wildcard now. Okay. Yep. One more. Awesome. Okay. We could probably improve this, but we're gonna make do with this for now. And another thing we can do if we want to simplify this is basically we can do struct float literal, or should we do float value? Let's do float value, and we okay, and do integer int value. Then we do okay, bool value. We do, I could use macro, and I will use macro to generate all these eventually. But one thing we could also do is implement parse token stream for null value, so that takes care of this. Token actually thinking if it doesn't make sense to actually do this. Doesn't make sense to use token meta there. Token meta gives us span, but are we able to get it span elsewhere? Perhaps since we have token stream though, shouldn't we be able to get that already? Oh, from token stream we've got that. Yeah, we shouldn't have to do this anymore. We could just do this, right? What's the definition of this? Okay, I'll use actually I think this should just take token kind so we can simplify that. And token kind, which this is. Implement missing. So it's still text token meta y. Oh, I see. They should go. Since token meta is already token meta is already part of what we have. There's yep. So we can parse null and then parse integer. So we can essentially we could use token mapper here also, or alternatively we can just use or else. What if we parse token? Is there a way we can declare how to parse token to this? We implement this for token. Actually, this might be simpler than this. Let's see. Let's close everything here first. Let's see if I will implement should we be able to edit the parse token string. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so we get the next. If we do the next, we compare with the what else we're missing. We have token string, token. I don't think I've implemented iterator, but so we can do string pick and let's match that. Get this. Tell you what we can do is also if let some token close this. So we get the token out here, which is it gives us the token meta. So from the token meta we should be able to get a span there and maybe matching that. So then we can basically interesting. I'm actually thinking this is if it might be possible to implement this by default just for every token, because it doesn't quite make much sense to have to do this explicitly manually to implement a parse stream for a token. That doesn't quite make a lot of sense to me, because by default every token should implement that. token should implement parse token stream. So that's interesting. That's interesting for sure. In that case, we could actually just then do next token go stream the peak, and that gives us the next. It gives us a token stream. I think I should actually simplify this token stream. Yeah, I should. Use the token and the file. So we have that. We can do next token, something around that. We actually don't need to do that. We can just do stream dot advance. So this gives us now number, gives us, let's define some integers. Oh, so I start define before. Yeah, this gives us literal dots. Let's do integer for now. Token integer. Yep. Okay. So boolean means that basically I'll just make that public for now. Alternatively, I can do implement boolean and get this span also. Yep, that gives us boolean string lead. This is a bit more involved, so do string just do that. We've not escaped anything. This is just to play around with things. See, the next token is that we can advance that. We could have gone this way also, but I think this would be too much to have to do this, then have to do all else. So I rock with the first way better, I think. Actually, if there is no token, then we probably want to return an error, right? Let's do parser error. I'll just put this here for now, but this is still an option, so we can definitely use an if else there. Or couldn't we have just done oh yeah, I had written all these with none originally, so I can basically remove all that. Remove this. Okay, I think I can pretty much remove everything there. So the way to do this is to take tokens as token keep this. We will keep this, let's say 52 first. So that can we remove that? So we get tokens. We get a token stream, and then we do something like get a token stream, which should no, I'm just first I'm gonna inspect this. Let's panic. So this goes on the parser. Pure engine. Interesting. That comes from select. Let's remove our stuff now. Select. For now, we're gonna remove that. Okay. Punch out these errors. Oh. Okay, it's expecting an option. So would that be unwrap or else? In that case, this shouldn't be. Well, okay. I think. Let's see. Okay or else. I think yeah. That's probably it. Don't convert to that again. Token error. Maybe we can just use token results. Alternatively, we can implement a converter from parser to token error. But for now, I'll just keep this simple and use the token error. I think that should work. Token result. Yeah, that takes a token error. Couldn't convert error to token error. Question mark. Converting from car Alexa error token error. Information expected from to implement that. That's weird because token stream should be using a token results which uses token error. This is a token error. Transforms option into this. Okay, makes sense. this is supposed to return results. Am I missing something here? We're just gonna unwrap this first. Already at the definition needed. Calling for type T declare result. This is weird. Talking versus T right now should be token. Why isn't it able to infer that? I'll do that for now. I just wanna see. No compile. Okay. Zachary. Oh, what's good? Where you learn this? Just by doing, just by working on stuff. Someday I just woke up and I found out that I knew a bunch of stuff. Yeah, but on a more serious note, where did I learn this? Um, Mostly I just started being curious, reading a bunch of books. I read I read about 9 to 10 Rust books, and I'm guessing that you're asking about Rust or this. I read a bunch of other stuff like crafting interpreter, some book stuff on virtual machine and bytecode and all stuff like that. So I just read a bunch of things, but more importantly, I work on a lot. I work on a lot of projects. So I'm a very hands-on person. I think that helps me learn a lot better. Okay. Yep, yep, yep. Let's ignore this test for now. Okay. Yeah, I do. I've been doing this professionally, but mostly I build apps at jobs, but this is a bigger passion for me to build tools for the engineers. I found myself to enjoy that more, and actually I didn't start by building these projects. These projects weren't just like I want to build a database engine, I want to build a query library or something, or I want to build a parser. It's mostly been about solving my own problems and pain points. So when I started out, I wanted to build apps, but I wasn't quite happy with the database query languages and ORMs and parsers and stuff like that. So I tried like more than 30 in different languages. In Rust alone, I tried 10 different query languages. I tried to make it work with Postgres, SQL, a bunch. I wasn't very happy with it. When I found SolidDB, I was quite happy. So I built an ORM for it because I wasn't happy with the existing tool. I built something for MongoDB also. I wasn't quite happy with it. I built that for SolidDB, but as I started building that, I realized that I was spending more time trying to fix a lot of philosophies or shortcomings in SolidDB rather than actually just building abstractions. And if you go check the GitHub now, you see that it's actually very complex, almost as if not even more complex and as large as the DB itself. So I was like, okay, I still have all these ideas, and I think my philosophies are quite different. So I might as well write my own database engine. And when I started writing my own database engine, also, I try to make different parsers work. If you check my other projects, you see that I've used things like norms and stuff, and even in this code base, you see that I've removed norm and Chomsky in some places during the stream, and so it wasn't that I wanted to just write my own parser. It was like I wanted to work with the existing solution. I wasn't happy with it, and I saw myself spending more time trying to see how it works to make something works. Norm didn't support span out of the box and a lot of other functionalities I would want. And I didn't just want to do outright combinatorials. I wanted to be able to also do recursive descent and be able to do prac parsing, a lot of recursive stuff without feeling too tied to the DSL of the parser. I had that issue with Chomsky and even now. So I was like, I'm just gonna write something with the idea that I have in mind. So I started writing this. So most of my projects have been, in fact, I would say 100% of my projects have been from my own personal pain points. So I try to solve my own problems. Even the apps I'm building are like from problems I've experienced personally. If that answers your question, does it? So what if we take that and do token is the first literal value. Um, inspects. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's cool too. Zachary. Zachary. Did I pronounce that correctly? How did you find the stream? I'm always curious about how people find my stream. I used to stream quite a bit. If you go check my um, old videos, but I kind of took a pause because I've been doing some other stuff. I've been working a lot actually still, um, and I've been reading, learning, and building some other stuff in the background. Okay. Oh, it was on your recommend. That's great. Thanks YouTube for recommending my videos. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you found my video. Let's try to break it a little bit. So we're able to parse that. That's good. What if we do boolean? How am I even representing boolean? Is it true? Um, okay, we're able to get that out now. What else? Null. I'm not sure exactly how I've implemented that, but let's try null. Okay, it's not yet supported. Let's do that. Null isn't supported. Okay, you know what? Let's do that here. Um, do now. I don't know. That should probably be case sensitive. So let's do null. I think that should be case sensitive. So do you work with Rust or something else? What language do you work with? And are you interested in Rust? So now we're able to parse null also. You think AI will replace tech jobs? No, it won't. Um, it won't, at least not anytime soon, and it won't. I don't think it will. The way people think about it, the way I think about AI is that AI is just another level of abstraction, right? Like AI is no much different than Google if you really think about it. Like there is nothing you could do with AI that you couldn't do with Google. The difference the difference is in the scale. Well, mostly the time scale, right? And this is what I mean. AI basically helps in quick information retrieval. It's nothing more than that. It's really what it does, right? You can argue that human intelligence is just about information retrieval or aggregation, um, but it just makes that process of googling and stuff a lot fluider and better. And it's just a different phase. We started from before you needed to have access to the best libraries, the best books, the best professors. Then internet's kind of like democratized that you could be anywhere in the world and you can just use Google and still have access to the best resources. And I think AI is in the next phase of that, right? Not only do you have access to it, access to the information itself, but you also have access to the retrieval. So before you needed to be really good at googling stuff. Like there are literally tutorials on how to Google using prefix so you find the right information and stuff, and searching the right forums or fora. Uh, but those things are needless now, or at least you need those a lot less now. So anyone is able to retrieve information better. But but this is it. I think the most important part of the way I've been thinking about things over the years, and the reason why I'm building these projects in the first place is that infrastructure is key. Infrastructure will always be important, right? And what do I mean by infrastructure? AI doesn't exist in vacuums, right? For AI to work, if you tell AI to generate an image for you, it uses some library to do that. If you tell an AI to build you a website, it uses some library to do that. Maybe it's React or Svelte or something like that. We will still always need those infrastructure to be built. and AI can help you build them a lot faster. We need to build better database engines. We need to build better frameworks. And you can argue that, well, you don't need to build 1 billion frameworks, and you don't need to build them 1,000 times. You don't need 1 billion people. But the thing is, when you're talking about software, it's not really the one-offs that are important. It's first getting the requirements, knowing what you need to do first, from the customer's perspective. What do the users want? And sometimes the users are not even clear. I would even say most of the times they are not really clear about what they want, or they are not able to articulate it in the way they want it best. So understanding that requirement and connecting systems, that's the next thing. Interoperability. Like, if I tell, for example, I'm building this project, AI can help me a lot. Now I'm using it as autocomplete. I didn't used to use it as much, but it can help me ideate. But you still have to own your idea. You still have to have clarity around how you want this to work, right? I've tried a bunch of libraries, they didn't work out. I came up with my idea because I have clarity around my idea. AI can help it with that process, right? But I think you need to see AI as a tool to enable you do your job better and faster and more efficiently, and not just something to replace you, right? So you will still need to build your own cloud platform and run them, right? You need your Docker containers, you need your clusters, you need this system to operate with each other, interoperate. You need to set your network policies. You need to make sure that that works with the other system. You need to deal with man in the middle attack, and AI can help in all this process. I'm not saying it can and it will make it better and faster, but you can't just give AI everything and it's just gonna do everything hands off. You still need to be in that system to monitor and see how things work, and there's still a lot of manual processes that go into it, because these systems exist in silo, like they're separate, and you need to connect them to each other. And a lot of building software isn't even writing the code, it's in the communication and making sure you understand this different part that you need to talk to, and how and where, what do you need to consider, the security implications, like how do you prevent sniffing, like man in the middle attack, and um, packet sniffing and all that, and also the scaling, like how do you, what are the things that will affect this traffic on the way to the destination, how do we improve this system, right? AI will definitely help and will make it faster and better, and maybe you need less people for certain stuff, but now I think it will just offload us to solve much more interesting, complex, intricate problem than the mundane stuff, right? For me, sometimes I have like I would even say most of the time when I'm working on projects like this, I have like clarity around what I want to build, right? And I feel like I could type out 1,000 words per second, right? So, but the impediment in what I'm building, or the hindrance, is really typing it out. That's like the mundane part. Like the interesting part is like just connecting the dots and making sure everything works together. And AI will surely help in improving that. Um, but those are not the interesting part in my opinion, anyways. Nah, oh, you do cybersecurity. Oh, that's interesting. Cybersecurity is interesting. I don't see a lot of Rust, but I think it's interesting. Rust is definitely interesting. I think no language is perfect, but Rust is a language that I've really found to suit the needs that I have. Thanks, I appreciate it. So I think people shouldn't panic too much about this. Or I think what's happening right now is that there's a lot of macroeconomics that people are conflating with AI. Of course, there's AI, and especially in some industries, right? Consulting, arts, and other industries, even in software, you might need less people. But over time, I think things will evolve, right? we will find better problems to solve, and in a more interesting way. It will make us much more productive. We'll be able to build better tools, and I think it will accelerate our rate of progress. So when there's innovation, there's always a pushback, right? Don't forget that we used to have elevator operator, and a lot of people lost their job, but like no one would want to be an elevator operator today, right? So we it's a short-term pain for long-term benefits. And I think that's the pathway to progress of humanity. That's the way we've been progressing since like the Stone Age and hunters and gatherers. We just have to. It always comes with pain and a lot of pushbacks, but ultimately, that's the way humans become better, I think. So we're able to now parse all these literal values. Um, and let's see, okay. We're able to parse the number. Whatever try floats. Do we have that already? Do floats. Where are you chatting from? Did you say it already? No. You found it on the recommendation. That's great. So how do you like cyber security? What do you like about cyber security? Let's do cargo watch. Okay, we're able to parse 565. And yeah, it seems to be hanging. Because we parse it here, we should be able to also parse that here. 565. It's fun and interesting, always something new every day. Some days it's a little boring, but I feel a great sense of duty in my work. That's awesome. I'm glad you feel that way. That's cool. So what was the best part of it? What do you love the most about your work? So it doesn't seem like we're getting to this part. Okay. Of course, we're panicking, so I expect that would be case. Let's remove that. Okay, integer. Why we did that? Float. We do e minus 2. Awesome. We do plus 2. Honestly, incidents oh they're very oh they're very stressful. Oh, they are very stressful, but it's also really adrenaline pumping and fun. Yeah, I know, right? Because when you're dealing with incidents, of course, you have that sense of urgency and the pressure. I definitely feel you on that. So why did you choose cybersecurity? Okay, so again, infinity. Maybe reduce that a little bit. Okay, that's good. It basically took two of this, move that around. What if we take that out? Does it still work? Yes, it does. Well, you would take that out. Good. Works, and this also works. Let's do a minus. Perfect. What it would do actually a minus. Yeah, perfect. When I was younger, I watched some Arkham movie and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Now you're one of them. That's cool. It's really it's really crazy and interesting how movies can like steer our life direction. I mean, good or bad, but especially when it's good, it's amazing. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So we got floats. What else? I think I've got the values. Yeah, we got floats. We could do string outs also. I think we already actually have string. How about we try that also? Awesome. And what if we wanna have, let's say this here? I don't expect that to work here. Good. But we can then do something like this. Perfect. And then we can, this also doesn't work. And then we can do something like this. Perfect. That's good. Although low key, it's just a lot of emails and not really hacking into mainframe. I mean, that's just it. It's like when people say I'm a software engineer and they're just like changing the color of buttons all day long, all week long, all year long. Yes, that's true. I think most, especially when you're in corporate, it's just meetings and it's just meetings and messaging, texting, slacking, and emailing and stuff like that. And that's what I've been saying about AI replacing human. Um, the goal of a company is not to write code. The goal of a company is to solve problem, right? So whether you're using AI or not, I think it does matter, of course, but the goal is to, I think, when people see coding as just something to get to your own destination, I wouldn't even say I like writing code. I don't, I love solving problem, I would say. So if something is gonna help me do it faster, uh, definitely I'll be game for it. So we've got that works. We can do, what if we do that? Does that work also? Good, good, good. And what if we do that? Good. And what if I do this? Yeah. Good, good. Works. So I'm just gonna do now is, actually, let's try something interesting. What if we do like range I64. Should range actually be, yeah, range can be a value also. So if we take that, we could do range. Let's do this first. S64 require left, right. So we can do left, we can do right. Alternatively, I might actually prefer this approach. Yeah, I don't really like coding too much, which is why I choose cyber. I don't mind it, but I'd rather not do it. I gotta go. Good luck with your project. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining. I hope you have a wonderful night, day ahead of you, and also weekend. Thank you for joining in. Let's do range. Where's the range? I was pretty sure I had it. Okay, probably removed it already. So what it would do range here. I think we could do we'll do it's gonna be integer and it's gonna be a 2 dot and then the last one is gonna be also integer. So we can just take that out and left, then right, and close that, then we can finally get left and right. Okay, we need space there. We can do left, right. So let's try that now. Okay, we're still getting floats. That's because this should come first before floats. Yep, now we're getting range. It's good, it's good. What if we do something like this? What if we do this? Okay, do that. Okay. One thing I need to do is come with range. This is optional, so we do option, and this is also probably should make this an option 64 so this can be an option so option is 64 if we want to do that. So it's gonna be, I mean, we use a map. There's the value, and there's also do the same. This can and should definitely be improved, but we're gonna make it work first, and then we'll make it better. Okay, so I guess we want to make this optional also. Interesting. Alternatively, I can implement, I mean, this should be a number, I think. Yeah, it should be I64. So, implement. Tell you what, I'm just gonna do bite the bullet and implement struct range start. Implement. Yeah, we can definitely implement that. But more importantly, implement display. Merge. Yeah. Curly is Scarlet Saber. Thinking. Should there be an empty range? That's basically everything. Maybe that shouldn't be supported. I'll check back on that later. Yes, the range. Panley Paragons. This looks cool. I haven't seen anyone build something like this in Rust. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, if you check my old videos, you'll see that I've been streaming. I was streaming quite a lot in the previous years, a couple of years ago, but I stopped streaming for about a year because I was doing a lot of other stuff in the background. But now I'm back. I'm glad that you you find this interesting or useful. How are you doing today? How did you find the channel? So yeah, we can actually do. We can just put that here. So for now, we're going to do that. Okay, I think we should be able to make this a copy also. Good, so nice. And if you do the work, good, 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 good. So in what context am I using this? You can use this, but actually I think I might prefer something like this, like 2 to 4, like the Python syntax. So it's either I do something like this or I should. I guess it depends on the context. Yeah. But this is what Rust does, but Python does something similar to the other. So do this. Okay, looks good. For this, also good. What if we then try to do 35 epsilon? This should throw an error because oh no, yeah, it's correct because this number is optional here. But this should throw an error. No, it's just gonna parse. It's gonna parse this part. We're just gonna have one token left, but it shouldn't throw an error. If I do a-6, so we do for range 99. Okay, maybe to get that. I found your stream randomly while watching random programming videos, but I'm glad I did. Oh, thanks for that. I enjoy watching people make cool stuff. Rust has always seemed difficult, so it's all like magic to me. Yeah, I mean everything feels like a magic until you actually get it. But I'll still say it's like programming to me. It's programming is really magical, and science generally, science and technology, I find them very fascinating. The fact that you can just take zeros and ones and take the idea of building extremely complex algorithm and tools and software just from zeros and ones, the concept of on and off, because that's all the computer understands, zeros and ones. Aaron, did I get that correctly? Hey, what's good? Thanks for joining the stream. Not sure if you remember from Karachi. Oh, of course I remember my streamer from Karachi. How's it going? Thanks for joining again. Glad you found your way back to my channel. So it's like really fascinating to me that you can just take transistors and semiconductors and capacitors, and you take that concept of like logic gates, you combine all these simple zeros and ones, and you can like make text, you can make videos, you can make audios, you can simulate stuff, you can make artificial intelligence. It's really interesting. So it's actually magical. We last chatted about Neovim a few months ago. I took your advice and jumped onto Astrovim as few months ago using your config and been using it ever since. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm glad you found it useful. And I hope you're good. How's it going with you? How's life? Welcome back. And guys, if you're on the stream, if you can like the stream, I would really appreciate that, so my channel can be suggested or recommended to more people. I've not really done that mostly, but I think it's good to also let more people see what I'm working on. Okay, so we're able to parse the range and float. Awesome. And we're able to also tokenize and parse that as a literal. Liked and sub. Thanks, Pandley Paragons. Pandley Paragons. Did I get that correctly? I saw you nuked it, renamed it to Vim. I went back a few commits. Yeah, it's I don't have time for the 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 config yet. But I didn't really nuke it. It's still Vim. I plan on doing some work on it, and I might even migrate off Astro because I've been having a bunch of issues with it. Oh, I said it right. That's awesome. So where are you chatting from? Let's got it right. Okay, so we have the range and we have that. What else? Okay, we have integer, we have range, we have floats. This should probably be. What else do I need? We can come back to the time. Before that, I just take this. I don't think I need to store the span information. I don't think so. I think I can do without that interpolated part. The time I'm gonna use something else. Should I come back to this? I'm in United States. Computer science is my biggest obsession for most of my life so far. I love web development, mostly, but I also really like low level computing with C and assembly and stuff like it. Yeah, that's I do too. Low level programming is really cool and enjoyable, and a lot less people do that compared to web development. I'm also interested in writing interpreters, compilers, virtual machines. I like how there is so much to learn with computer science. It's massive. There really is. That's spot on. I think I share the same sentiment as you do. Please full screen it. Do you mean this? Is this full screener? Is that what you mean? Um, what issue did you find with Astro? Sometimes it lags, even though I'm at, oh wow. Yeah, the shadow errors. Yeah, I've been getting that shadow error, but I think I've not had time to like debug that a lot. Um, so that it's possible that it's actually coming from Neovim itself, right? But at this point, I also feel like I'm using AstroVim less and less. A lot of the things that it offers. Um, yeah, Panly Paragons. That's compilers are very interesting. So when US is that? I was in America. I was actually just in America a few months ago, late last year. I was on the East Coast and I was also on the West Coast. I was in Portland, um, Oregon. I was in this place called Manzanita. I don't know if you've been there. It's a really beautiful place. I love it. It's so tranquil. And I was also in Pennsylvania. So let's do. Okay, let's put and then we can do literal value. Cannot find cannot find literal. Of course. Let's limit as well. Just name this value. Cannot. Yeah. Let's implement that for now. But actually, I tried roster too, so using that as well. What other ID have you been using for Rust? I've not really had time to explore other IDs. I've tried different editors. I'm using Ghosty and Western mostly now. But I don't see myself going back to VS Code or even any ID anytime soon. So I'll just find a way to fix the bugs and all that. I used to live in Tennessee, growing up, and live in Virginia. It's nice here. I enjoy nature, but I don't often enjoy the people around here. I'm hoping to get the chance to travel one day. Oh, that's cool. I've never been to Virginia. I don't think so. No, I've not. Well, it'll be nice to visit someday. I I had a friend living there before. I don't know if it lives there anymore. We've not been in touch for a while. But that's cool. I mean, you still have all the time in the world to travel. So if you want to travel, where would you like to? Where would you like to see? Where would you like to travel to? How do you dynamically configure cargo thermal features to be picked up by rationalizer currently? Or I'm not sure I actually do anything. I just use Rustays and Vim or something. I think it does most of that. I might have configured some stuff sometime that I don't actually remember. But I think the plugin should undo most of those things. And if you're using Astro also, um, you should have the defaults. Those things should be done for you by the Rustays and Vim or something, whatever the plugin is called. So this says operation binary operation cannot be applied to that. Okay. Mantra's code. I'm not sure I get what you mean. It's supposed to pick it up automatically. Like there's a reason that blurs out. If it blurs out for you, then you're you're probably I might be missing this, but if it blurs out for you, then you're probably not that code path is dead, right? The whole point of that, if I'm getting that correctly, is that when the code path is not being used or utilized, then it should blur. I mean, it should be dead out. I'm not really sure where I would visit, but the idea of seeing some other places and cultures seems exciting to me. It is exciting. I mean, US is quite big. There's a lot to see. You know, just traveling around the East Coast alone, like there's a lot to explore. And of course, you can go a bit north to your neighbors in Canada, and maybe you might find something you actually find interesting about it. But yeah, you explore and take your time. There's all the time in the world. Binary operation cannot be applied to. So we have a reference for hash map there. Okay. Let's just take comment down from there. Should I box this? Or should I box the entire thing? Or am I missing here? So Aaron, do you mean that doesn't work for you? Because it does work for me. I don't think I've had issues with that at all. Binary operation cannot be applied to this. So what's the binary operation here? We've got that object. It's never used. It's interesting to me. That's weird. It's never used. Consider removing a. I'm just gonna restart because that seems weird to me. Seems weird. Oh, I need to remove this partial equal, of course. But why does it say it's not being used without that? So in case of the hash map as object, we've got a key and we've got the value. Okay. I'm actually thinking if we should. I'm just gonna leave it simply that way first. Let's see if. Well, I'm just gonna keep it that way first. So what if we go to expression and update that also? So I need to remove this implementation literal or so we go value. Think I could just remove this. Yep. Let's do a simple expression. We've got the literal now, and you could do just path cover that. Yeah. Just move that away. Hmm. Actually, let's go. Should I be talking? Yeah. So. Then. Um, okay. So I already did that. It's good. I used num for all this before and I'm moving away. I can pretty much just or export expression. Subdirection. So I'm just gonna take this one after the other, so we can start with index. Honestly, I think struct index. And this should be starter. Or actually, maybe something like that. That's interesting. I want island from this. Isn't that exported? Oh no. Okay. So we can do ident. That's what I want. Oh, I see. And to remove from this. And to remove here. Okay. me get discovered by the SP. Oh, it's not public. Because emoji is also not public. Honestly, I think I could use data type. We don't really need comment there. Okay, that. Sorry. Boolean. Wouldn't it be nice to just scope that all together beyond the data type? Yeah. This okay. Yep. Now we've got this. Doesn't implement debug. Student. Different here. Actually, I'll keep this. No. I mean, we can actually just leave it. I don't have to have everything defined. And the expression. Okay. Yeah. Front expression, which going back to that. This is the base, and then the so of course we can do something like this. We can approach this two ways. We can do, let's say, consume exact and do something like this, and That's one way to do that. I feel that is cumbersome to do that every way, so perhaps we go to ident, and in addition to wherever we have of there, you can do purge purge token stream for ident. Token stream token results is for the token stream this time around, so we can just do that. This should be token. Doesn't implement token trade. I think I'll bite the bullet on that soon, because we don't have to implement that token trade every time. We don't have to. Token trade for ident. I think I'll just fix that. I'll fix that so that we don't have to do that everywhere. So start first as incompatible. I think I'm just gonna turn Copilot off. It's actually doing more than good. Token trade is implemented for token stream. I mean, it's not satisfied. I think I'm gonna leave this. I only did this token stream stuff as a quick escape arch when I was testing yesterday or something. So I'm gonna remove that barrier because it's actually messing up with my dev experience. But we can do that everywhere. Honestly, I'm just gonna bite that bullet now. So what I'm gonna do is remove that. Token meta gives us that. We have that. So yeah, we're actually the only thing we need to ensure that the only box it needs to tick. What it needs to tick is that we can do some comparison. So we will do partial equal, at least for now, because I've got all this straight, and I didn't want to actually implement that for everything. So I do implement that. Yeah. Then I don't have to. So I can remove this now. I can remove that also. The reason, okay, now it's saying can compare token stream of token with token stream of also token partial equal is not implemented for token stream. This is required with that token state. So let's check token stream. Okay, let's do partial equal. No, I'm just gonna implement the missing piece. Mismatched type. So here we get that. This should actually not be. So I'll just push this as maybe. So I'm not really sure we should be returning token meta here. I don't think so, because yeah, it makes the API cumbersome to work with. So perhaps here we can run a little bit of experiment. So this returns an array of that, but what if we could return just the tokens? Actually, you know what? If we take that in, should we return the? We can always derive the span everyone. It's like, okay, let me see. This yeah, if I return meta here, so it would be a bit small. So even as input and output, I think this is I want to think a little bit. Do we use the span information from the token? We should have that, right? We should have that. In this case, how do I get the span? Oh. How is everyone doing? Yeah, I need to think that through a little bit. So, all person, um, probably gets fun. But anytime we actually need the spawn, we can always get it, right? We can always derive the span by running that. So I don't see why every token should do the span. I can see why you would want to do that, but I think it's better to delegate that to the coding with Jamal. Is this open source? It's gonna be soon. It's still yeah, it's intended to be open source, but it's still private now because I literally just started this. Once I progressed a little bit to the point that you can actually run it, I'm going to make this open. So I want to get to that stage where you can actually run the database and actually use it. It doesn't have to be perfect yet. Think of that as maybe zero point 0.1 version. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'll be traveling a little bit, I would say next week. And I plan to do a crunch for about a couple of weeks in February, then just release a version that can be available. And I also plan to build tooling for it so that you can actually use this in a smooth way, like user friendly way. Okay, cool. I've tried to make a database in Rust before. I need to try again. I'm still a student right now in university or the school. Yeah, I mean, you can always try again and try again and try again and again and again. And I wish you the best with it. So where are you chatting from? How did you find the channel? I'm just always curious to know that. So um, do we need to start a span? I don't think so because anytime we parse, we can always still retrieve that information by keeping a track of that. So each of the token, though, I don't think we need to store a meta. We can delegate that to the token stream and let it be responsible for tracking that. And anytime you need that for an error message, you can always use the delegated function or method to achieve that. If we remove the span from the trait, it's gonna simplify the code by a lot. It's very nice of you to make an open source project. They are great learning experiences for both the developer and for others. absolutely Pandley paragons, as my goal is to share not just my work but also my knowledge with people, and that's why I try to stream this project, and so you can see my thought process and how I come up with my ideas, just the ideation and everything all together. So it's not just like boom, you just see this finished stuff. I want you to see the. I can share my profile in case you. I have some other projects there that you can check out, and I still have a bunch. I've got about 6 projects I'm planning to open source this year. 6 solid projects, and they are like new, fresh perspective. I think to the things that I'm trying to bring to the table. So they aren't just like I just want to build a replica of this, but they are actually unique and built from scratch. Thanks. I just found your channel today randomly on my own page. Oh, that's cool. Coding with Jamal. You're welcome. Thanks for joining in. And if you subscribe, I'm gonna appreciate that. And if you can like this stream also, so other people can find the channel. I appreciate that. Hey, that's cool. Panley Paragons. That's cool, cool, cool. Let's go. So I actually think we don't have to store this pan, which we're doing with the meta, because doing that just is cumbersome and needless. Oh, the margin. Yeah, now I remember why I was tracking it in the first place. We might need to merge the spans, and that would be lossy if we don't let each of the tokens track their own span. It might be lossy because when we advance, how are we able to say that this span from like the original string slice that we're referencing? How are we able to say exactly? So if we've got 2 tokens like select and um, identifier, if we don't keep a track of the two, we have the current span. Let's say we parse select. We can tell select to actually return its span. We can also tell from to also return its span. But what in workation, when we are advancing, we can always get that right. Right. But then we might need to merge 2 parts. Yeah, we're advancing that. I've started my database in Rust. Do you think it would be hard to make a client library that can use my Rust DB? I would prefer my DB like SQLite and not need a server. You never know until you try. You just have to give it a shot and just see. Oh, thanks, Pandley. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for checking out my channel, my GitHub, and everything, my projects, and I promise to bring a lot more, not just educational content, but also projects that the community can benefit from. So yeah, Jamal, you just have to build it out and get a vibe. For me, to be honest, I just mostly do vibe coding. There are like design patterns, like adapter principles and factory whatever observer patterns. It's good to be aware of them, but like I let my design patterns emerge. um i I start, you can see that even as I'm coding, like I don't try to, of course I try to get a general idea before I start, but I start very rough and I try to polish it. So you don't get into this analysis paralysis situation. So just start and see where that leads you to. So instead of trying to force like a design pattern into what you're doing, let the design pattern like emerge. Let it be something that ensues in your stuff, not something you actively pursue. Um, from say Python. Oh yeah, of course you can make a client from Python. There are different ways you can do it. You can write it from scratch for every language that you're using. You can use a WebAssembly um, interface for the different languages, and um, I mean there are different strategies. You can use gRPC for that and stuff. A lot of many ways you can achieve that. You can also just use a normal REST API or even GraphQL. Like there are many ways you can do it. Yeah. Something when you're advancing. In that case, we're only gonna go in advance. Then, but we want the spans be properly tracked. So each of the tokens actually have to keep their own spans. Yeah, I see why I kept that. Yeah, 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 yeah. If we don't keep the spans, then we will lose some information. We will not be able to track those. But is there a better way to do this? Could there be a better way? I think we need to still keep the meta. We definitely have to. Otherwise, this becomes lossy and we lose some of the spans in the process of advancing. Because this is not like discrete. It's not discrete, sort of, right? It's continuous. And yeah. So I think I need to revert that because if we just return, let's say like current spans, for example, or the span, oh, that's now the token actually, so that makes it even a lot worse. Or we can, let's say we do like check prime, then spans, check prime, do that. What's gonna be we're still not able to keep. Yeah, we definitely have to keep the spans. We will because the tokens themselves have, they are not just a single character, they could be a bunch of them. So we might need to do some merging. Anyways, um I I wish I could just go on and on with this stream and do this for another 10 hours, and I probably could still do that, but I really not eating anything today. I just realized that. So I probably need to go grab something to eat. I love doing this stuff. I love building them. That's oftentimes I forget to eat something. Um, but thanks to everyone that joined in today. I could still go on. I think I still have enough energy, but I should probably go grab something to eat. I might still come back tonight, or um. But yeah, thanks to everyone that joined in today. Shout out to Vin, the first to join the stream today. I appreciate you for joining today. Shout out to Ben Clark. Thanks for joining. Thanks for subscribing. Shout out to Zachary. You're correct. Shout out to you. Thanks for joining the stream. Shout out to Aran, if I got it, or Harahan, sorry if I got that correctly, and Pandley Paragons. How can I miss that? Shout out to you from the United States, and Haran from India, I believe. If I didn't mistake that. Shout out to Max Huge. Please full screen. I'll try to always keep it full screen. And shout out to Colin Jamal. Coding with Jamal. Sorry, my brain is shutting down. I'm gonna have a nice meal. Pandly Paragons. I appreciate you for appreciating my work and subscribe. I'll be doing this more often now, and I'm here. I spent I spent a lot of time last year learning and studying, and still continue building stuff. So I'm excited, and now we can even get to build even much more interesting, useful, complex, sophisticated, interesting projects. Thanks to everyone. I appreciate you. Keep being cheerful, careful, but also explorative, and just do what you want to do. Just do stuff. I appreciate you. I appreciate. Uh, and in case if anyone wants to follow my work, before I forget, this is where I put my projects. Right now, I've got these projects, but soon I have the parser, I have the database, I have like three other projects, but I'll probably open source the parser, the database, and I also have one for I have one authentication project. Then I've got some other ones that I'm excited to share, and I'm actually looking to build the um, Tailwind compiler from scratch. But we'll see if I get enough time to tackle that. Um, but but if we don't get enough time, so yeah, my plan. I want to build a parser for. Of course, I'm doing that for this database, and I'll also build toolings for it. Like it's gonna have its own query builder and ORM. But in addition to that, I want to support other databases like Postgres and SQLite and MySQL especially. Then I might have something for MongoDB also. But anyway, I gotta go now. I appreciate you guys for joining. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you share, and um, feel free to follow me and check out my work. I appreciate you. Peace to the world, and bye.